Show me your friends and I will tell you who you are. Very cliche, right? We've all heard it. But I didn't truly understand its weight until I started maturing as a young adult. Here's the hard truth that most people won't admit. You're not in control as much as you think you are. Your environment, the people around you, the content you consume, the conversations that you're having on a daily basis, they're not just influencing you, they're programming you. Here's a quote from me to you. Most people don't fail because they're lazy or incapable. They fail because the environment makes failure normal. Now, take a moment and let that sink in. Welcome to the channel. My name is S. Grab a coffee, pull out a notepad, and join me for this reflection about life. I post content like this every week, so make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. I grew up between the ages of 10 and 15 in South London. And while most people picture London as tea and crumpets, the reality is that just like any other major city, it has its rough areas. And I lived in one of the boroughs with the highest crime rates and gang violence in the country. At the time, I didn't realize what was happening to me. But looking back, that environment shaped me in ways that I didn't understand until years later. Being around the wrong people in that area made me look up to the wrong things. Certain activities became normalized. Not because they were right, but because everyone my age was doing them or around them. When something becomes the standard around you, that desensitizes you. You stop questioning it, you stop seeing it as wrong, and you sort of just conform. Eventually, I became exactly that. Another product of my environment, on my way and on my path to become a bad statistic. Let me give you a clear example of how crazy this is. Back in the day, if a kid said that they liked anime, this is before anime became popular, you will get shut down, called a nerd, mocked. So what happens? That kid will now stop talking about anime, maybe ditch their interest, and they will start talking about whatever the group talks about, whatever keeps them accepted. These seem like small moments, right? Micro interactions. But this is exactly how your environment shapes you. One small compromise at a time. One suppressed interest, one adopted phrase, one shifted value, until one day you look in the mirror and you don't even recognize who you are. Luckily for me, I was able to move out the area. And it was only then, when I could look at it from the outside in, that I actually realized how much my environment had been holding me back. When I finally left and got out the environment, something shifted immediately, and it wasn't what you would expect. I didn't suddenly become successful, I didn't get rich or famous overnight. That's not how it works, let's be real. But what did change instantly was what felt normal and my mindset. In my old environment, if you said that you were working on something, people will ask you why. Like ambition needed justification or made you feel like you were trying too hard. In my new environment, if you weren't working on something or trying to progress, that's what felt strange. I remember the first time someone asked me, what are you working on right now? Not what are you doing this weekend? Or do you see what happened with so and so? Or are we going out? But instead it was, what did you learn this week? That question would have been alien in my old world. But here, it was just the standard. It's just what everyone was doing. Suddenly, I was around people who read books for fun, who talk about ideas they were exploring, not just drama they were observing, who treated focus like a default state, not a superpower. And here's what I want you to understand. I didn't become a different person at all. It's still the same me. But what feels normal to me just completely changed. The environment did the heavy lifting. Working on long-term goals felt natural when that's what people I respected were doing. My standards went up, not because I white-knuckled my way there fighting everyone, but because the bar around me rose. In my old environment, someone scrolling for hours or playing PS4 all day will be seen as normal. Someone with a side project was doing too much. The inputs were gossip, drama, short-term thinking. The algorithm of my physical world was designed to keep me comfortable, distracted, and under bad influences. Whereas in my new environment, the defaults flipped. Reading is normal. Building or trying to build something is normal. Delayed gratification is normal. And suddenly behaviors that used to require massive willpower became easy because everyone else is doing it. That's when I understood the truth. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your environment. Now, here's the problem. Most people can't see this happening to them. Because here's how your environment actually works. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't walk up to you and say, hey, I'm going to slowly program you to accept less, to think smaller, and to normalize mediocrity. It's far more subtle than that. Your environment dictates your default behavior. It shapes what feels easy and what feels hard. It determines what you see as achievable and what you dismiss as unrealistic. Think about it. In environment A, being focused is the norm 80% of the time. In environment B, it's only 20%. Which one do you think will make you strive more? When you're surrounded by people who've made peace with going nowhere, ambition starts to feel uncomfortable and natural, like you're betraying the group. A shark will grow smaller in a fish tank, but only reaches its full potential in the ocean. You're the same, so change the tank. And here's the dangerous part. When you try to break out, the environment will fight back. I tell you that for free. You know the crabs in the bucket metaphor? One tries to climb out, the other one pulls it back down, not out of hate, but just a pattern. And humans will do the same thing. When you start trying to change, when you try to level up, to think bigger, to break away from the old version of yourself, from the change of your environment, the people around you will resist it. Sometimes they will disguise it as concern, as keeping it real, as looking out for you. They will say things like, why are you doing so much? You think you're better than us now? Remember where you came from, or that's not realistic, or you're being naive. But here's what's really happening. Your growth makes them uncomfortable. Because if you change, it forces them to confront their own stagnation. And that's painful. So they pull you back down. Not out of malice, but out of self-protection. And here's the part that makes this so hard to escape. This resistance doesn't feel like resistance. It feels like friendships. It feels like loyalty. It feels like staying true to your roots. And here's what I had to realize. Growth isn't betrayal. And wanting more for yourself isn't the same as abandoning where you came from or the people there. Because here's the reality. You can't outwork a bad environment. You can't discipline your way past people who drain you. You can't willpower your way through inputs that dull your mind. The environment always wins. Always. Unless you change it. And here's how you know if this is happening to you. If the idea of changing makes you feel guilty, if wanting more feels like betrayal, if you find yourself downplaying your goals so people won't think that you're doing too much, that guilt, that's not coming from you. It's coming from the environment. So here's what I want you to do this week. I want you to pay attention to your environment. Not in a judgmental way, not to attack anyone, just to honestly assess where you're at. Who are the 5 people you spend most of the time with? What do they normalize? What do they celebrate? What do they mock? What content are you consuming daily? Not what you think you consume, but what actually fills your feed, your screen time, your mental space. Is it building you or is it numbing you? What behavior does your environment reward? Does it reward focus or distraction? Does it reward building or consuming? Does it reward growth or comfort? Write it down, look at it honestly, and ask yourself, is this environment designed to help me grow, or is it designed to keep me comfortable? Because here's the final truth. The most powerful thing you will ever do isn't working harder, it's walking away from the wrong environment and walking into the right one. So let me leave you with this question. If your environment is programming you every single day, what is it programming you to become? Think about it. I will see you next week. And I'm out.